Welcome to Shade and the City. I'm your girl, Treese.
It snows.
And today we are here to get into our recap of the love that happens after the lockup. This is season 6, episode 6. Quit playing games with my heart.
Literally.
My heart. Y'all ain't even gonna. I couldn't wait to get up here and sing that for y'all, okay? I was a huge NSYNC fan, okay? NSYNC over Backstreet Boys all day, okay? We don't even know who 98 Degrees is. They don't even go here. All right.
Oh,
what?
Don't do that. I love 98 Degrees.
That's like saying
not over insane.
That's like saying, oh, that's like Christina and Britney, and then you say Mandy Moore. Girl, bye. 98 degrees is like Mandy Moore.
I liked Mandy Moore too.
Bless her heart, y'all. Anyway,
what?
We are here. Look, next you're gonna say Jessica Simpson. Anyway, we are here to get into the love.
Shoot, she turned me on a Chicken of the Sea.
Bye. So we're here to get into the love that happens after the lockup. This is season 6, episode 6. I already said that. My bad. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button
and that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's get into it. And yeah, let's get shady. We're going to start this episode off with our least favorite. This is Brooke and JK. Now, they're still arguing, not her going off. They're still arguing because he wants to get home before curfew, and she wants to make sure that he sees her kids, mind you, her kids. So he jumps out of the car and calls his cousin that we just saw. I believe his name was John. And he asked John to come get him. And John said, well, bro, I'm a little too far away. If you mess around away from me, you're going to be late. So Brooke then gets a call from her mama. And she said, when you come and get these badass kids? And so she tells her mother that she's waiting on JK. She doesn't know what to do. After calling Brooke all types of snitches, that's not what he said. I think y'all can interpret what I'm saying. He asked if she plans to take him home, and Brooke flicks him off. So Brooke feels like, he's let her boys down. And again, those are your children. So JK accuses Brooke of driving too slow. And as they're driving down the road, he legit snatches the keys out of the ignition while she was driving. And you can literally... Huh?
I thought the keys were on her lap.
No, he took them out the ignition, I thought. Because that's why the car stopped. That's why the car stopped moving.
I thought she just stopped it.
No, because you didn't see it. So to my point, if you watch, production has to literally slow down to keep from running into the back of them because it stopped abruptly.
Oh, he wouldn't have made it on time.
So I text Nels when I saw this scene, and I said, he would have went back to jail, and I might have went with him because we would have been on the side of that road squaring up.
It was really bad enough for me that he snatched the keys and I thought he took it off her lap. But you took it out the ignition?
Mm-hmm. So the car was still in drive, and he said, boop. And you could tell she ain't got one of them newer cars. It's not like one of them start push button cars. No, he snatched that key right out that ignition.
I don't even think I know you could do that.
If I'm wrong, Shade Squad, and I saw something differently, y'all correct me in the comments, but that's what I saw. So then he tells her to get out because she's not driving and she's gonna make him late. And then she gets on the driver's side and lets him drive, and they argue the whole way. So he does make it home. He is 5 minutes late, but he makes it home, and his mother Kathy pulls up, and so he tells what's her name? Damn, Brooke. stop being, acting like a bia and go in the house, okay? And so Kathy quickly, she's like, hold on. She said, I done taught you better than that, okay? And even though you might be a jailbird, I know I did better, okay? So you ain't gonna talk to no woman like that, not in front of me. And so he's explaining to his mama, look, Brooke almost had me late. She was getting ready to send me back to jail. And so his mama's like, Brooke. And so Brooke says, he made a promise to my kids. Again, her kids. So Kathy tells her, you know what? Well, that's when you call your kids and you tell them something came up.
And she said, don't make promises.
Do that. Huh?
She said, don't make promises you can't keep. I said,
She said, well, they are 8 and 12. I thought you were talking about like 3-year-olds.
Babies.
Brooke, if you don't get out of our face with this, and if anything, you need to be more concerned. Your mama is tired of keeping them kids. Okay? You need to be more concerned with getting back to your kids versus trying to get JK to meet your kids.
And having more. Boo, you hardly got a baby as it is.
Well, so basically she tries, Kathy gets into the middle of it and that pisses Brooke off. So she's like, you know what, I'm gonna leave. And Kathy's like, you know what, you should. And but before she could leave, JK's like, I don't want to do this. And so, they kiss and make up or whatever. And then apparently he's having a whole little hold down outside, welcome home party. And, she's still fussing the next day about him meeting them damn kids. Okay. So she says that, she refuses to let another man come in and let them down. Well, girl, you did, because last time I checked, aren't you pregnant allegedly, aren't you pregnant by JK now? And I'm pretty sure y'all are not together. So you spoke it into existence, sis. That's all I'm gonna say. And so then his cousin comes up. I didn't get his cousin's name with the dreads, but his cousin is there. And Brooke went to go take the food up to his stepfather, David, who's on the grill, right? And so she's like, David tells her, so I heard, a little birdie came in my ear and said that you think about having some children with this man. And he said, do you realize that this man has had more girlfriends in jail than I've had in a lifetime? And he said, you are the last on a long list. Okay. And of course, Brooke don't know how to take that. And so he said, please believe me. You will thank me later. I think you might want to hold off on these babies.
And her dumb ass ain't listen.
Nope. So this obviously provokes Brooke to go and ask for JK's phone. And she decides, and if I was JK, weren't you just on the phone in the car? So where's your phone? I mean, I know why she did it, but I ain't even gonna hold you. If I was JK, she wouldn't have got my phone. Because I know you have a phone.
And I would have said, I'm not asking for your phone to use it. I'm asking for your phone because I want to go through it. Now,
you see how violent she just looked?
Now, if that's a problem, I already got my answer. So
then, of course, he gives her the phone, but he admits to his homeboy, cousin, or whatever he is. He said, look, yeah, it's some in that phone. And he was like, man, you didn't delete. And he was like, nah, man, because, we had got into it last night. And he's like, but while she out there looking through the other stuff, give me your phone so I can call Alex. And I said, you really ain't no pieces of shit, okay? And he called Alex and he said, look, I just want to reiterate to you again. Don't show up at this damn party. He said,
don't come around here.
Don't come around here.
Yeah.
He said, but I do want to see you tomorrow. So I will be coming on, we'll have a little rendezvous. We'll connect tomorrow. So she's like, all right, she cool with the sloppy seconds. And so then Brooke comes back outside and JK, asks for her phone back. And she's like, asking him about all the women in his phone. And, but he's also saying he wanted a baby with her. And girl, that should have been when the keys came out the ignition. I don't even know why we're here and why we're still here.
How did we get here?
How did we get here? What in the words really be said? In the words of Deborah Cox, how did we get here?
That's what I thought of.
And So Brooke asked if he's still talking to Alex, and of course he flat out lies. And yeah, that's Brooke
one thing
got a baby.
well, child.
All
All
right,
right, so
let's move on to Will and Courtney. They look like a fun couple.
do they?
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd have fun with them.
I like Courtney. She has a little spunk. I like Courtney.
Just a little spunk.
A little spunk.
All right, so they're at the room, loving the ring that he said was completely out of his budget, but he basically told her to go rinse off and make it worth my while. He said he doesn't get her the whole night because she got to go to the halfway house, but he's glad he gets a few hours with her. So he made sure she washed up, got her some pizza, made sure she was fed, and so then they can play with some toys. She literally took a bite of the pizza, and from then it was on. But she did say that she was nervous to get intimate with him because she hasn't been intimate with a man in a long time. And I love how she specifically said a man.
Mm-hmm. Because we already know she was probably kitty clicking.
Exactly. And she said there's things about him that she don't know. And I mean, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
girl.
what happens when you meet people on the internet.
So then on the way to the halfway house, they're a little disappointed that they didn't, they have to go to the halfway house and they didn't get to lay next to each other after they did the do. She said Will is a freak and she's just as guilty. Okay, but apparently they didn't get to use any toys or rope.
Not missing out on the ropes. The ropes
Right.
look fun.
Clearly, we needed to know all this. They were feeling too frisky. They didn't get to use nothing. So she asked him, how soon does he think they can get married? He was like, well, let's do it tomorrow.
I know she regretted asking that.
Yes, she did.
Oh, you could see it all straight up in her face.
Did you see how she looked at the camera? Like,
right.
What just happened here? So
She
then
said,
in the
I ain't mean by tomorrow.
Exactly. I don't need it by tomorrow. So in a confessional, she said she is committed to him, but she just met this guy. So she asked him, how are they going to do everything that they need to do for a wedding tomorrow? And he was like, well, we can rush the wedding dress. We can call an officiant. And, I'm sure the hotel that we at has a ballroom. You thought about this, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You thought about this. Then she said, her mom was acting weird, but she would.
I mean, it was a decent hotel, so it probably does have a small ballroom where they could. It's not like they was. I mean, well, even if they was at a Hampton Inn, they could get a small ballroom. But still, I'm just saying, it wasn't like they was. It wasn't like they was at the Comfort.
Don't feed into this.
I'm just saying. I applaud a man that plans.
Ciao. So she said, her mom was acting pretty weird, but she would like her mom to be at the wedding. So, and she's only there for one more day. So she said she's down.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if y'all noticed, and it's only because I noticed halfway through this recording here, but apparently the light spirit decided to come back and cut my light back on randomly, unpredicted. Nobody did anything. Nobody hit any switch. If y'all go back to probably the past month, this thing has been out, and all of a sudden I got it today and it was on. So anyway,
the light spirit, huh?
That's what I call it, because we're perplexed. Jamel came down and was like, "Oh, your light is on," and I was like, "Why? How did that happen?" And I was like, "Did you do something?" He's like, "No. It just goes in and out when it wants to. We don't know." Yeah. Anyway, so let's move. Look, I'm happy. Thank you. I've been asking you to cut it back on for a while. I didn't understand why I went out the first time. So let's get into Joey and Michael, which this is a train wreck that we are watching happen. Okay. Now, first of all, Michael took Joey's car to the halfway house to check in. He tells the production that he thinks Joey loves him more than he should. And he says he thinks that, he can remain clean.
I think we can all agree on that.
What? That Joey loves. Oh, absolutely. So he says that he thinks he can be clean as long as he has something to keep him busy. And he doesn't know how long he had. Now, this is what I found disturbing. And I literally got it word for word. He said, I don't know how long I have out here, and I want to do the things. Basically, he wants to do the things that he wants to do the short time that he has. In my opinion, and I even shared with Nels, I said, either he's planning to, either he thinks he's going to go back to jail, or either he thinks he's going to go back to using and unfortunately may lose his life. Either one is bad, but I think that he already has set in his mind one of the two. Like, he's not just gonna be free and turn his life around. Like, that's what most people would say when they get out of jail, i.e. Brian, Demadrick, Bradley. That's what most people say when they get out of jail. They're looking forward to the future. He's just looking forward to how much he can enjoy himself for this short period of time. All right. Now, Michael says that he does want marriage. He does say he was in a long-term relationship. However, his mind was in a relationship, but his body, he said, but my body is telling me yes.
Period.
Okay. We ain't gonna go into that because I don't want to y'all get mad in the comments. All right. So basically, the boy, he was off, spreading himself thin, literally. Okay. Spreading it wide and busting it open. And so production asked, well, are you ready to be committed to Joey? And Michael says, in my mind, I am. Because there's a lot going on in his mind. However, he said, I hope that the chemistry is there. And then Joey is headed to the hot tub to, decompress before they spend their first night together. Well, I can't even say first night because they've been together before, but they first night in a long time. Okay. And so Joey admits that, he is very mild in the bedroom, and Michael wants to turn up. Okay. He want to try some things. He want to do some things. And so Joey tells him, he meets him in the hot tub, and, you know, Michael's like, oh, okay. So he's hopeful that this is going to loosen him up. And then we learn the next day that they wake up and it sounded like didn't nothing happen. Actually, nothing did happen because Michael said he talked like that, but he can't get it up. And he said, Joey just for whatever reason didn't do it for him. And he said that's a little scary to him. So he has to go to the Medicaid office, get himself set up. That's, I guess, one of the conditions of his probation. And Joey's like, oh, well, I wanted to go work out, but did you want me to go with you? And he's like, nah, bro. And he even goes as far as to take Michael's phone.
I could not believe that.
I'm sorry, take Joey's phone.
I could not believe that.
And so Joey, and I didn't even go, I would have been like Joey. I would have been, when I work out, I literally sometimes will not work out if my phone is not charged enough that I know I can play my music. I won't. So I knew how he felt. And he's like, I'm looking for the phone. Can't find it. Because Michael's ass got it. Okay. And
he was tearing that room up looking for it.
He was tearing the room up. And so Michael's like, look, I ain't even gonna hold you. Joey's just really giving me kind of like, not zaddy, he's giving daddy vibes. Okay. He's just real kind of over top of me. Is not really attractive. And this ain't what I'm trying to do. So after he does his little visit, they tell him he has to do a job search. He already said he's not doing it. He was supposed to report to the halfway house by 12, and it's now 2:30. So he goes back there to erase the time, then goes to Michael, who's calling him at this point, and he's not answering. And then he finally walks into the room and, oh no, I'm sorry. So before he gets back, he gets a call from his friend Spencer. And we learned that him and Spencer is real good friends. And he tells Spencer he gonna see him the next day. And him and Spencer hunched before, okay? So, but he said regardless, that's a non-negotiable for him. He ain't letting go of Spencer for nobody. So we know that's gonna be an issue. And then as Joey's starting to wonder where the man is in his car and what he's possibly doing, Michael admits to production and he's not ready to tell Joey how he feels about the relationship. He comes back apologetic. He returns Joey's phone and he actually plays it off as like, oh, I thought it was my phone and I just picked it up. Now I will say this. Me and my dude used to have the same exact phone. So that could but even still, I have a different cover. So
Trace, Did you hear when production asked him, so you believe that he picked up two phones? You can absolutely pick up the wrong phone, but you're picking up my phone and your phone. Did you see the way he went in on production?
Oh
Well,
no,
if I
so
leave it, that I said all
so
of
then
that.
we
He
get
used to watch his back.
so finally Michael admits that he took it by accident. And so to Nels's point, production starts going in and asking him if he believes it. And Joey starts to get nasty with production and tells them he can't change his mind once he believes something. And if that's what Michael said, then that's what it is. And I said, you better calm down, because
And that's your problem now. That's why you can't see this for what it is, because you can't change your mind once you believe something.
whoop, Nelsy, but that's a word. That's a word. If y'all want to put some money in the collection plate, the cash app's
Oh,
at the end of the bottom. Okay. All right. Go ahead to Nels's favorite, the Ashley, Julius, and Alexis of it all.
childish thing was a mess. So
Mm-hmm.
Julius done left this girl Ashley in tears. And I don't know if you seen the trees or if Shade Squad, y'all seen it, but apparently Ashley used to be that girl. Okay. She used to be all in the videos. I even saw that she
I've
dated
seen a
Miss
video, but she did not look like that girl. I know you sent me
Deb.
something.
She looked like the pictures that she was sending. And
Oh,
she
okay.
used to
Yeah, she looked more like the picture she was sending, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't say
and
she was
she
that
used to
girl.
date and she used to date Miss Deb's son. But yeah, apparently she used to be a little it girl. She was known apparently. Um, but yeah, then this girl gets on her phone crying to somebody. I don't know who the hell she was talking to. And it looked like maybe she went to her friend's room, maybe down the hall or something. And she was like talking about how he has a girlfriend. He said we're not in a relationship. This girl just want to go drink, okay? While he's downstairs telling production she had the wrong idea and he had to just lay it out on the floor for her. He said he did rock with her because they had a little bit of chemistry. She even got his name tatted on him and he didn't tell her to. But he doesn't want to he doesn't want us to misconstrue it. I said, sir.
Misconstrue. I knew you was gonna love that.
I said, sir.
Not you trying to reuse words you don't even know how to pronounce, brother.
I said, sir,
Look,
sir,
and I
sir.
bet you he read that in one of them books when he was in jail.
He definitely added a couple extra letters.
Mm-hmm.
But he was like, she think it's a relationship. This is not that. And he said he definitely picking Alexis over Ashley because Alexis was loyal to him while he was in prison. So Alexis at home calling her coworkers talking about how her and Julius had such a good night together. And I'm like, girl, wasn't you just feeling funny about him though?
Mm.
Okay. Then they talking about how he pewed up the club. Okay. And she don't know if he pulled out or not. But she was like, she doesn't let everybody do that, but he's giving soulmate vibes. I'm confused because not just an hour ago. So then she lets her know that she's a little bit concerned because he was acting weird and now he's with his friend Tyler. And her friend is like, girl, he just got out. Chill out. She says she has a strong gift of discernment. She was like, so what was you all doing? And he was like, I was just hanging out with my homeboy. He needed to chill. Talking about how they was smoking and chilling. And I was like, sir, you just said how you not supposed to be smoking. And here you go mention it on camera that you smoking.
Right.
Like, what? So then he gets up to go get in the shower real quick. And she said she's feeling uneasy. And said, cheating would be a deal breaker for her. So I guess the next morning they were heading to his PO. She says she's still feeling some type of way. She has a gut feeling that he's talking to another girl. So he gets a text from Ashley talking about how he's a liar and she's gonna put him on blast. And I mean, literally, this girl is blowing up his phone.
Oh yeah, and that had the fact that she was just so like nonchalant about it. Like, there's no way your phone is going off like that, and I'm not gonna say something.
I don't think she was nonchalant. I think she was just growing more aggravated and just waiting for a moment to talk about it. But yeah, so she was growing more suspicious. In the confessional, he said Alexis has been giving him weird vibes all day. He knows she's suspicious and he understands why, but he ain't with Ashley no more. That's done. So production asked him, well, what if another girl slides up in your DMs? He was like, well, she gonna have to get curved because I got a girlfriend now. Sir, bye. Um,
Like he Mr.
so
Faithful or somebody.
exactly, like you had a girlfriend before this, okay? So they went to some little game place or something. They're playing Connect Four, and she asked him, "Am I the only person you talking to right now?" And he was like, "Honestly, there is somebody else." So she gets up, she walks out, and says, "You know how she needs a moment," and she was given Friday vibes. She had to go cry in the car.
Not cry in the car.
She did. She went to go cry in the car.
All right, let's move on to Brooklyn and Brian. I actually thought this. I would love to know your thoughts, Shay Squad, on what you thought about Brooklyn and
I was
Brian
aggravated.
and Bestie. So,
I was aggravated as hell.
were you okay? So this will be interesting. So Brian has been approved to parole at Brooklyn's house. She goes to pick him up and says that after finding the photo of the chick on the back of his tablet, he has a lot to prove, right? So Brian said that he's done with prison and they have a sweet embrace when she comes to get him. Brian says that he started misbehaving at a young age. And it's not because he came from a bad neighborhood or anything like that. That's just what he chose to do. So they met apparently in high school and she pulled up on him literally and told him, get in my car. And that's what he did. And you know, I guess he said, she was a woman and knew what she wanted. Then we see in the car that they start licking on each other. And she said that they, never had sex, and she's hopeful that he's gonna make it do what it do. So she takes him on a tour of her house, and she has him drinking some tea that's supposed to be increasing her fertility. And they ask, so production is like, well, what happens if she can't have kids? And he was like, oh, I just have faith that that will happen. So then I don't know why, but I feel like production asked that for a reason, which makes me think, is that like a deal breaker for him?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. So Brooklyn and Brian wake up the next morning and report that they had sex 5 times. I'm surprised we haven't heard anything about her being pregnant yet, which might be why production asked her that. So she brings up the picture brings up the picture of the back of his tablet. And she brings it out and she wants answers, and he tells her it's not that serious, and then he rips it up. And so and they move on because clearly you didn't already did it to him after you found the picture, so you couldn't have been that mad. So she's hosting this whole welcome home gathering for him, and he's gonna meet her daughter, Alani, I believe it's pronounced, who's 8, for the first time. And Brooke says that they're very close, and Alani comes in and runs into his arms and says, "Bestie, I miss you." And I was like, "Oh my god!" But I know some people feel like it's a little bit much for a man that just got out of prison for you to have this little girl jumping all over him. So Alani tells the production that she hopes her mom and Bestie are together forever. Then she starts grilling him about how prison was. And
after he walked her to her bedroom.
yes. So he asked her how prison,
with her,
which I do think was inappropriate. And I love how she grilled him, and he said he made a big mistake, and she was like, "Well, what was the mistake?" And so he's like, "Well, and she just she's interrogating this man for 8-year-old. She was going in. And so finally he's like, "Look, I'm not comfortable talking about it, but I promise that we'll talk about it another time." And so Brooke is hopeful that Brian can win over. And so she's like, "I'm glad that everything went well with Alani in their first meeting, and I just hope he can win over my dad, because that's also an important piece, because apparently they're very close." So Nels, would you like to give your thoughts on why you were absolutely bothered?
I thought it was a lot. I thought it was a lot for the interaction that they had. For him to be a stranger, I didn't like that he walked her to her bedroom.
Like I said, I definitely will give you that.
I didn't even like the way it looked. I didn't like. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like that he. I didn't like that the mom stayed in the kitchen, while they went, and I didn't like that he laid in the bed with her. It was weird. It was uncomfortable to me. I didn't like it.
Well, Shay Squad, y'all drop it up in the comments and let us know what you think. Well, let's get into Nels's favorite couple, y'all. Y'all know she love these, and they local too. They from the Virginia. She like them.
You're a mess. About Savannah and Bradly. We know it's really her favorite because she normally has them.
No, that's why I'm off the screen, because I can't stand these people. That's why my notes say Chanel's part.
So after the party, they hop in the car. Savannah wants to know what him and his sister Caddy was talking about, and he told her that she thinks that you're controlling and she's scared that you're going to send me down a negative path. So Savannah asked him, why does it seem like every conversation she has with her, it has to be, or yeah, she has with her, has to either be, they support him or she can support him, kind of like a competition. And she said that it's sad that her boyfriend has less support in his life because she exists in it. And he said, you know what, I
But
just
they
feel like,
don't like you.
basically. And he said that he feels like he's in a gang war. And really, he can't understand why she even cares whether these people like her or not, and feels
I
if
was
she's
gonna say that. Can we be worried about if he like you? Because half the
exactly,
time it feel like he don't.
and mainly because it is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that it's more about respect, and he doesn't know, he doesn't want to hear about it anymore. He said it's just drama. And she tried to carry on with the conversation, and he said, just leave it alone. Okay. I am done with this topic. So the next morning, he's outside on the porch talking to his sister, Alexis. Is it Alyssa? It's Alyssa.
Alyssa, yeah.
Why am I think say Alexis? His sister Alyssa.
There's already somebody on the show named Alexis.
You said what?
Because it's already somebody on the show named Alexis.
Probably remember.
Mm-hmm.
So she let him know that she changed his dentist appointment that he had, I guess, a month out to something sooner. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So when Bradly mentions this to Savannah, she's like, "Okay, well, how you gonna get there? Your sister with no car is gonna take you because
Mm.
it's 45 minutes away. Did you expect me to do it?"
That hits
He's
different.
like, he's like, "Whoa, what what's going on? Okay, I thought we both wanted me to have an appointment. Like, I was in prison for 3 years having prison dentists work on me. Okay, and you seem a little irritated by doing something for me. You know what I mean?" And felt like that she was irritated that people aren't running things by her first. And she said, "You know what? All I'm trying to do is support. But if you feel like I'm being controlling, then I'll stop." And he said, "I think you're getting support and control confused."
Mm.
Um, okay. And she said, "I feel like you sound like Caddy right now." She said, "Every time I do something that you don't like, you call your sister and then want me to have a relationship with her. And you're not giving her the whole story." And he said, "No, you're the one that wants to have a relationship with her. Okay. And I'm not trying to be split in between you two." So she said, "I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm not the one putting you in a position to feel split in between us." And she basically said, "No, you and your family just have, little issues that build up and up and up. And that's why y'all don't get anything resolved. And y'all don't even understand why y'all hate each other." So he got up and left. He was like, "Yeah, I ain't about to sit here and let you bash my family." But he took off in her car.
Mm.
Okay. So then she got on the phone with his sister, Alyssa, to, complain about Bradly. And she basically said that the car that he's in is not even hers. It's in her mom's name. And her mom then called the police on her 3 times. So she suggested that Alyssa call Bradly and tell him about himself and think about what he's doing right now.
That was manipulation like shit.
Yes, it was. Um, so
And
when Alyssa,
and not even that, I would never want to be with, like, if I was Bradly, I would have I don't know, and I will say this, and y'all drop in the comments and let me know. But I don't know how probation or parole works, and once you go to somebody, once you say you going to one person's house, and I guess maybe they can't switch or can't change
no, I
because
don't, I don't think so easily you can.
okay, because I definitely would have packed my shit and I would have went to my somebody's house that a
And
family member.
And that's why a lot of people don't like to parole to their significant other's house, because you get this control and I can't
Mhm.
just up and leave when I want to. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So when Alyssa called him, he tells her that him and Savannah got into an argument because Alyssa made him an appointment and he didn't run it by her first. And she's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured, because that's who she is." And he said she even tried micromanaging him while he was scrolling through IG. So Alyssa mentioned the conversation that she had with Savannah about the stolen car. And, basically it's giving, you should be scared. So he
Mhm.
10-4, basically I
Basically,
get
I would call the
that.
police on you, and that's why I said that
Exactly.
would have been done. I would have been done with her. Oh, now
Yeah.
you're threatening to call the popo on me. I mean,
Mhm.
she didn't say that, but basically, it was a look.
Oh, my mom called the police on me too. She don't even know, sir. She don't even know that he has the car. So what are you saying right now? And for all he knows, for, for all she knows, you let him take it. So what really is the problem?
Mm. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this recap of the love that happens after the lockup. If you haven't already, please make sure that you guys hit that like button.
Make sure you comment.
Make sure that you subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the Blue Sky, because I'll be live skying, the TikTok, the IG, and the Facebook. And we will catch you next week for another recap of the love after the lockup. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Bye-bye.